Here, how are you? Hopefully we're streaming and I'm not even going to check it. I'm going to rely on you guys out there, to throw a comment up in the chat section to let me know whether or not we're streaming. If I don't see a comment in a minute, I will have to do some investigation, but it should be streaming. Okay, what do we got? I'm reading here, Steve H, the draw video was great. Thank you very much for that. Let me see what's happening. Everything's looking good up there. I think it's fine. All right, on the show today, I've put a little thing up there saying, yep, looks and sounds good in Indiana. Excellent. Thank you. That's what I was after. Then I don't have to go through all of this mucking around at the beginning of the show. Let me do this. Let me do that. You know, I put it to the side. I'm thinking, hey, I'll just go with it. Now, the color. I'm hoping the color's looking good. I've got my on-air sign over here, which has got a light behind it. I've got the remote, the wireless microphone, so the sound should be fine. I'm hoping it's all going to go well. I've got a packed show today, and as always, last night I was thinking, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to talk about? So anyway, I'm responding to a few people's requests. One of the requests is to go through the Kapex docking station that I've got here, and what I would do differently if I was to do it again. You know, it's a fair bit of work to do it again. Louis Uberg has decided to pull his bits and start again. But I will go through all those details. Let me see what else we've got here. Everyone's saying hi. Yes, that's great. John Parra, the draw video was great. John is one of my patrons. How cool is that? So let's get started with that straight off. Patreon. Join in the talk properly to start with. Join in the rewards that these guys are getting. All the patrons that I have, once they get to a certain level, are picking up big time rewards, which is great. It's a way of me saying thank you for supporting the channel. So there's 5 people get their name read out, and also in the description box just below, have a look down below this video running at the moment. You'll see there's a whole heap of things about what's going to be in the show today, and also the patrons that are making it possible. Because I was running out of steam, guys. I got to tell you, I'm only human and I can only do this for so much amount of time. And I need help. And these guys have just put their hands up and said, Dave, can we help you? John was actually pushing me to do it, John Parra. So thank you very much, John. I did it, and thank you so much. So the people who are supporting the show this month, John Wilson, John Parra, Vincent Nguyen. I'm hoping I've got your surname pronounced right there, Vincent, N-G-I-A-N. And Louis Uberg and Raymond Tott. Thank you so much, guys. And if you want to join in, as I say, down the bottom there's all sorts of things. Backstage passes, lets you see what's happening behind the scenes, things that I don't even put on Facebook. And early stuff. You get to see things before other people do. So it's cool. The capping station. What am I talking about, you idiot? Kapex docking station right there, going through that. Dust masks powered. Now, I have 3 different types of dust masks, and they're all powered. Now, why do I have a powered dust mask? Because of this fungus here. If you have an ordinary dust mask that just sits over there and it's not powered, and you're sucking air through, it's going to leak everywhere around the side. And, you know, why have the thing on? There are other ones that can pull really tight, you know, and, you know, they're pulling so tight against you, though, that they're really uncomfortable. So that's why I wear a powered mask. Josh Mandel was the week before's IMUF's winner. And let's have a look. Let's see if we can see Josh there looking smooth. And I'll have a quick chat about that. Here we go. There he is. What a handsome devil. Okay. Let me see. What else have we got here? Now, Josh, IMUF's sent the white model, which looked great. I may get their tinted lenses for use while mowing. Now, why do you do this, Josh? Is it very sunny, or do you like to have that kind of dark look? So if the neighbor's putting a rubbish bin out or something, you can check her out without anyone seeing you having a bit of a perv. But let me get back to the straight and narrow here. Forgive me for saying that. They do work. Now, here we go. This is something about it. They do work well on female voice, but if only they could selectively filter out just the chore requests, I wouldn't miss out on hearing how handsome they look on me. Thanks again. I really do enjoy the videos and the show. Excellent. Thank you very much for sending that photo in to me, Josh. It's great to get that kind of feedback, and it's part of the fun, you know. So if you happen to win, like some lucky person this week has won, and I'm not going to say their name yet, because as I say, if I say the name early, you'll all nick off and say, "Oh, I didn't win." So we'll leave that go, and that person will be announced maybe in 20 minutes, if I remember. Okay, what's the next thing? I've moved my pages around without actually without having finished that section. I'm getting ahead of myself. Drum sander demo. Now I'm going to run some skirting boards through the drum sander because you may be aware that I'm redoing my garage floor. The concrete floor, I've ground it, and I've nearly finished putting all the epoxy on it, and it's coming up really well. I'm going to start throwing some pictures up on the Patreon site that are going to be closed. So if you're a Patreon supporter or one of my patrons, you will see what's happening, and you'll get my response or my reactions to how it's going down. Whether I like it or don't like it, all that inside goss before the video is actually even made. What else we got? Oh, so the drum sander, yes. Get back to what I was talking about. The skirting boards. I pulled all the skirting boards off in the garage. Now, I don't know, itchy nose. In my garage, I lined all the walls with a product called Villa Board. Now, Villa Board is like a cement sheet. Well, it is a cement sheet. What am I saying? Like a cement sheet. I was going to say like a fibro, but fibro is so much related to asbestos that we don't really use that term anymore. It's a fibrous sheet. That's why I used to call it fibro. And the fibers they used were asbestos. Now they're using a cellulose from New Zealand, I think. Anyway, the Villa Board on the wall in there, it closes all the studs, makes it clean. I painted it white, but I took all the skirting boards off so I could do the paint job in there correctly, and also so I could repaint these skirting boards, because it's been a garage, it's been hosed out all the time. The slab was a mess, you know, it was real powdery, it was just a stinker. So this is the journey. So today, the drum sanding, I'm going to clean up those skirting boards, and I'm going to show you a little tip on how to do it. And I'm going to run it through the drum sander. I'll also give you a tip on how to clean the drum sander, the belt on the drum sander. We may even change the belt. We'll see what happens. Darren, you might be right there. 720p may not have been the live shows, only the tutorials were. Right. Okay. The IMUFs do look good on Josh. Sometimes when I'm reading things from the in the chat section, if the chat has been stepping through quicker than I can look up after I've been reading this stuff, I may not come in on time with the conversation, and I might make a comment that sounds a little bit weird. So, good morning, Rob Hampton. How are you? Now, if I haven't said g'day to everyone, I'm sorry. I'm trying to push through and get all the show done. We're 10 minutes in already. If you're new to the show, we do a little bit of chat and then we'll do some demos. So we're nearly out of the chat, and we'll get into the demos very soon. Yes, it has been blowing a gale last night. I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be like Dorothy. I'll be in the house and off I go, and have to click my red shoes together. If only I had red shoes. What's the next thing? More IMUFs to be given away. Exactly right. And these are the IMUF images. There we go. Flick that over to there. So IMUFs. George, who has the company IMUFs, has very generously decided to, because I kind of twist his arm up behind his back. Not really. He's a lovely guy. He's decided with me to send out a free pair of IMUFs and a spare lens to the lucky winner of the competition that we do during the week. And if you want to have a look and want to know how to enter, directly below the images that we've got at the moment, I'll click back to this one. Directly below this box in the description box, there's the link there how to enter the competition. And this week, what you have to do to enter, I give you a little task, because we can't just say, here you go. I give you a little task, and if you do that task, you get to go into the draw. And the task is this week to drop into the Yellow Box Shed. So that's www.yellowboxshed, all one word, .com.au. Go in there, check out a few things, and once you've done that, then you can enter the competition. How's that? Can't be fairer than that. All right, next thing. Oh, I said all that. Keep the channel afloat. As I said, there's links, affiliate links down in the description box as well. Yep, it all helps make the world go round. And that's that. So I've said the patrons, and let's have a look at the Kapex first off. All right, I'm going to move the camera, so don't freak out. Move a few things over there, and I'll do a little bit of a read while this is happening. Okay, Rob Hampton. Wayne James, I check out to see how far you are from Holsworth. Looks like you and your family are okay. Yeah, we're fine here, Wayne. Thank you for looking. There is a huge bushfire down at Holsworthy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the other light on first. I'm trying to read and do things. Thank you for the link on the VIX bits. Not a problem at all. As I say, I try and find the best prices available and help everyone out. Yeah, John, it is indeed. Now, first things first. Over here, we've got the Kapex. And hopefully I don't disconnect everything. Now, Louis was talking about doing some different things down the back here as far as dust is concerned. He was talking about putting a slot about here going this way. Now, I did that in my first set, and it was no good. So I went to the back, and it's hard for me to work this little camera. I went to the back, right at the back, because that's where the dust goes to, and I even put a 45-degree angle there. Now I'm going to see if I can drag this all the way over and drop it down in there so you can see what I'm talking about. There you go. So that section there, I've done at 45 degrees because I found that I was getting build-up. Even that thing there was only a tiny little 3/4 inch wide or 20 mil, 19 mil wide step, but it was collecting dust and it was going up the wall, so I made it even chamfered. You'll see there's a little bit of dust down here, not a lot. Under the Kapex, it's not too bad, just a little bit. So let me explain this a little bit more. The Kapex is sitting on a collection box. Now you'll see underneath there is a 5-inch hose going up into that collection box. That hose has also got, let me see if I can see it there, a blast gate. Now that blast gate is a 5-inch metal blast gate, and I can shut the suction off so I'm not depleting the power that's going to the rest of the dust extraction when I'm using another port. The top of the Kapex table, again I'm trying to look around to the side here, yeah, there we go. The top of the Kapex table is perfectly in line with the thing on, with the wings. You could call these the wings, but this is the rest of my docking station. It goes out around 4 meters either side. So you can see it down there. And look, there's a Santa Claus hat down there. And I try and make it as useful as possible. Now, why did I make it this big? You got to remember my history. I come from construction, so it was nothing for me to put a 5.5 meter length of timber on here, which is, you know, long, 18 feet. So the small stuff, when I started getting into this kind of thing with you guys, I was looking at thinking, wow, how the hell do you get by with a docking station that's only maybe 6 feet long in total? You know, it's going to fall apart. All right, now I have mine bolted. So I bolt mine down on the rubber feet. So the more that I can tension those up, again, I've got to make sure that I've got the thing looking at. Yeah, so the more I tension these bolts up, the more it compresses the rubber. So I can adjust the height of that by doing that. Now, one of the things I was thinking of doing was possibly not putting that bolt on, but putting a sliding packer that goes in there and another one over this side that aligns the Kapex up perfectly if I ever have to take it out of where it is. So I take that out and I take it with me to site. And then just putting it back in and having it just drop back in automatically into a little channel would have been the best thing. Now, what would I have done differently? I would have made this space, I'll bring back here now, I'm going to set the camera up on its pole. So give me a second. There we go. All right. Okay, so I would have made this area 1 meter wide instead of around 650. Why do that? Well, see these guys here? That's the fence on the Kapex. I can loosen that off and slide it. But you see, I really can't go any further. Now I've got all this distance here. See that? That's from the bottom of the support back to there. If this was to be able to just fold off like you can on the Kapex 60, but you can't do it on the 120, this has to slide all the way back out there. So I should have made this part start around there. Make this go back further so that I could have put the crown stops, the crown molding stops on here. See these little slots here? They're designed for what's called a crown molding stop, and they've got a little stop that goes this way. It's just in case the timber has not got a 90-degree back on it, if it's got a radius on the back, and you can't sit it there properly. So that's what the stop's for. And that you can put them on either side on the Kapex, and that would have been great. I would have come forward ever so slightly as well. So when I'm in a full, let me show you, when I'm leant right over, and I'm at 45 degrees there, and if I lock it, you'll notice that it's going to be almost impossible for me to swing because the back is hitting the wall. Okay, so they grow. Sorry, Dave, I'm going to quickly have a quick look at this. Ian Carey, I'm going to have to bail out. My internet is cutting in and out badly, probably because the guerrillas have been through our neighborhood and laying the fiber cable for the NBN. And maybe also because of all that wind last night, Ian. Did you cop any of that? And the other thing is, you guys down that way, you're going to get, I think they're doing a backburn tomorrow. So it's going to be very smoky down that way. All right, so that's the long and the short of it. I'll give you some measurements. Let's see if I've got a ruler here. Because I get asked this all the time, absolutely all the time. So I'll push this back a bit further and tip that up ever so slightly. All right. Go back a little bit further even more. And up a little bit more. Now I've got the light on. I've got the light up above here at the moment, because I wanted to light this up down in behind the well so you can see what's going to happen. There's going to be some things blow, but don't worry about that. All right, put the glasses on because that always helps. At the moment, the opening that I've got is 645 between there to there. If it was a meter, that would have been enough for the crown mold stops to go on. I think I would need to research that. But as far as the fence is concerned, it needs to go out that way another 160 millimeters more than what it is there. So it needs to come out to there. So let's say we're spinning this around to the center. That is 520 millimeters either side. Yep. I should have made it 1,040 millimeters wide from there. I should have made the whole station 1,040 wide. I need to check on the width of these crown mold stops. You can do other alternatives. Steve Innes has raised his up a little bit further, and he's got some specialized aluminium track that sits on top in that section there and runs off, and he uses the Kapex's wings, the left and right hand wings, to be able to do all of that. Sorry for having my back to you there for that time. And it's a great idea. It's really good. And I think also some people use the Craig swing stop set up for their miter stations, or you can make your own like I did. So all this is a bit of mini track, Craig or Rockler, I'm not sure which one it is. And I've got a sliding stop that I made that slides along, and you might be able to see on the top there. I'll grab the camera and put it over the top. Whoop, where are we? I do need to kill that light. Give me a second. There we go. Can you see the stop there now? I'll come in a little bit closer. So that's what I look at. That's a cursor off a table saw, off the table saw fence, and that is a Craig adhesive track on the, yeah, there's chips. Okay. Yeah, so that's a right to left track of tape, and on the other side, it's a left to right. As I say, there's the tracks, and all I did was I rebaited. I just got the 19mm router cutter, and I put this bit of melamine over the router table. And I glued it to a large section of plywood. So this is LVL beam. So I ripped that down the center. So that is extremely solid. Have a look on the end there. You can't see it? Probably not. It's going to have a hard time focusing too. Look at that. I don't know why. Not enough light down there. Come on, you can do it. Do it. There we go. Got focus back again. I don't want anyone sending me little messages saying, can't see it, Dave. This focus is no good. Poor old Johnny's trying to help. Okay, I give him a hard time. All right, so that's basically the Kapex and what Dave would have done differently. And I'll move that over there. Tip this one up a little bit, and I think everything is good. Okay, so did that make sense, guys? Or, you know, I know not everyone's got a Kapex. Glad talking about this. I'm getting Build Mitre Station in the next few weeks. Good on you, Jim. Okay, I'm finally here. Good on you, John. But just feel like a puppet, you know. You heard about, no, I won't. I was going to start telling a story about the person was just a head. And that's what it looked like then, of course, just my head popping up. I've left my run sheet over there. Come back again. Okay, Dave. Planty3125, good morning. Where do you buy the Stanton blue t-shirt? Very hard to find with pockets. John, that's fine. Okay, you'll notice, I have been looking high and low because I've had these for about 6 years and I can't find any more lying around. Anyway, I'm just checking that my light is on. And it is. It's not very bright, but I'm jumping around a bit. I've got to slow down. Shirts. You'll notice on my Patreon site, and I keep on talking about it, one of my goals is to go out and get some more of these shirts made. I would love to get that done. And if I do, maybe I might share with you guys as to where you can get them. All right, what's my next thing? We've gone through that. We've gone through, I'll get my pencil out of the drawer here. And Kapex, done that. Dust masks, let's hook into that. Now you guys all know me to wear this bad boy here. This is my Pure Light Airstream. Now Trend make exactly the same model under license, I guess. And I don't know if they're still making it or not. I've heard someone say the other day that they weren't making it. They make another one now, which has got a visor and it's got 2 cartridges up the top. You know, 2 of this style of cartridge that lives up the top here. And they looked very interesting. Now, I don't know if it's powered, the other one, but this one is. Now, inside, this has got 2 P2 filters. Now, I'm also going to explain a little bit today what P2 filters are. So those 2 guys there, and I should probably really replace them very soon, are the filters. This here is the motor. It's a little inline motor. And underneath, down in here, is the battery. And this is the one that John made for me. And I'll tell you what, I get 15 hours out of this battery, which is absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, John, for making that for me. And he's made a charger that also, when it's finished charging, turns itself off. So it doesn't go crazy and overheat. Ah, there you are. I was looking for this rotten thing for 3 minutes before the show started. That's why I might have been a little bit late. This clamps to the poster that I've got in front of me here. My run sheet. It's too late now. You blew it, didn't you? It was hiding under my mask. It was being protected. Now, what's the next thing I was going to show you? So then, that is a great system for P2. Now, P2, you might say, well, what the hell's P2, Dave? All right, let me see. I've been doing a little bit of research. Now, P2 filters in the Airstream helmet. Class filter penetration limit at 95 litres a minute of airflow. So that's the speed that the air is going through the filters. A P1 filter, at least 80% of airborne particles. Now I think these particles, don't quote me on this, but I think these particles are 1 micron in size. I'll get to the microns in a second. A P2 filter, which is what that helmet has, is at least 94% of airborne particles at the same flow rate. So in the States, I think you've got 95 and 100. Oh, sorry, 80. I think it's 80, 95 and 100. I'd have to check that. Now, P3 filters, which you can't get in that machine, are at least 99.95% of airborne particles. Now, the blue shirt, I'm going to have a quick read. Again, John doesn't go in the corner. I'll sit in it for him, Sue. Good. Planty, Dave, that would be a very good idea for merchandise branding. Excellent. Of course it would. And Michael Christmas on the blue t-shirt put on a student of the guru. Thanks, Michael. Dara Woodfine, John Woodfine is watching. Yes. Oh, good. Okay. Oh, sorry. You've come in under another name. Adventures in Wood, Limited. Hi, Dave from Vancouver, Washington, USA. Been a while, mate. Okay. Well, we're doing some interesting chat here about filters, powered respirators, and what the different levels of protection are. And these are all things that people say to you, oh yeah, it's a HEPA filter. Oh, it's a P2 filter. Oh, it's just, it's a filter. Well, now I know the differences. So we can get to a HEPA filter if you want, straight off. A HEPA filter is 99.99% of an average of 0.3 of a micron. Pretty amazing, isn't it? So that's, I think it was 1 in 10,000, which is 99.99, which is right. And so 99.95, I think, was 1 in, I can't remember, less. Okay, it's going to let more through. Blue Tarp Media, hey everyone, first time here, love day. Thank you. Okay. Now I'm going to answer this other question straight off the bat. I've had a few people asking this. Adventures in Wood, some guy. More Barry videos, please. Look, I'd love to do them, and I've got a little one that we did the other night, and I'll release that soon. The thing is, Barry is 13, and he has a hard time walking. He's starting to get cataracts on his eyes, and he's not a puppy anymore. He's an old dog. His sister, born in the same litter, died a year ago. So, it's a hard call for me to try and get him to perform. But when he does do something off the bat on his own, I'll grab the phone, I'll take a bit of video. He was trying to help Vicky put she was assembling a plant stand. She bought this plant stand at the store, and she had to put it together. So she's down on the floor putting things together. So poor old Barry was licking her face. And he wanted to play a game with her. So I thought that was cute. So I did a video on that. So we see how we go. All right, keep on going with all of this, because we're halfway through, 12:30. So P3 filters are at least 99.95% of airborne particles. Now, the PAFTEC filters, this is where we start to get on to the next one. And also, before we get onto the PAFTEC, I'll do this a little bit. This is also a powered filter. Now, this is Vicky's for using with LED light. So it's powered. There's a little battery pack, lives on your hip. And then it's got this silicone mask that takes your form. And it's got 2 vents on the side for expelling air, one either side. And it's got this part in the front here, which accepts the cartridge. And this is the cartridge filter. This one I got from Carbotech. And also you can buy pre-filters. So there's a pack of 10 there. You just peel it off to whichever one you want. There's one there. And it goes in front of that section. And the whole unit goes in. You take the plastic cover off, of course. Otherwise, you wouldn't be with us too long. Okay, it's got a little arrow for the direction that goes towards it. Organic vapor catching cartridge. And it tells you some of the specifications about it as well. But that goes on there like that. And then the rest goes into there. You undo this little clip or the circle, pop it in. I think you would all be familiar with that style of thing. Now the Paftec one. And you haven't seen me wear the Paftec for a long time. The reason being, I find it extremely uncomfortable. That is until just recently. Now, I have been using the Paftec filter with this. This is the mask, which is dishwasher safe. It's got an expeller there, and one side is blocked, and the other side is open. Now, the reason being, that stops a continual circulation back through the filter, so you're not breathing in your own air or your own exhaled air. Now it goes over here, and you can hear me a little bit, and some people will probably say, well, that's a shame. So you can breathe through that, but I find, so as again, I tell you why I use these, it's because I'm reading a little bit at the same time. I find that with this, anyone with a beard, you're going to get leakage, and Paftec, Clear Space Paftec, will tell you as well that they're not going to guarantee with facial hair the results that they've given. They want you to go in and get a proper fitting for what you've got, and they'll advise you possibly to get rid of the beard. So this is a whole lot better than having just an ordinary mask that you're sucking in and it's all going around the edges. I think I've mentioned that before. But this one, why don't I like it? It pulls down on my nose when it's got the motor unit sitting on the back of my neck. And it gets, it's just so annoying. You're not going to wear it. Now, the other thing is, if you've got a P3 filter and you've got a half mask, it's going to drop you from a P3 level down to a P2 level. Did you know that? Interesting. Very interesting. Now, whether or not I need to do some more research, or you guys could do the research as well. Yes, you may have to shave. So the thing is, whether they're talking about a half mask as in one that's motorized or one that's, just a push over your face and suck through, I don't know. But they say the full face one is the best. Now, that brings me to this guy. See this unit here? Put me in the trenches. Okay, so this thing here, I did not know existed. So I am super impressed with this thing. This is a full face mask. The straps on the top hold the mask so it's not pulling down on my nose and trying to block off my air. It's brilliant. I've got to tell you, I love it. Now, I struggled with the rep from Paftec to get him to show me this, because he said, oh no, it's no good. It's no good with this. You're down a mine and everything. You can't recharge in a mine. You've got to go up to the surface to recharge. You need 8 hours down in the mine. I said, look, honestly, I'm not down a mine. I'm not working in a tunnel, in Sydney drilling holes to put the roads underground. I'm in a workshop with wood dust most of the time, and I'll probably put the thing on for an hour, then I'll put it on the charger. Why won't it work? Oh no, it's no good. I said, well, I think it might be. I said, send me one and I'll have a look at it and I'll let you know if I think it's any good or not. So hence, this arrived in the mail. And thank you very much for Paftec for selling it. So it's not selling it to me, sending it to me. It was given to me. And I'm going to test it. Now, it wouldn't make any sense my saying, oh, this is great from one supplier, and turn around and say about the same supplier, I don't like this thing. And this is my personal choice only. I'm not saying that you won't like it. I'm just saying, that's just saying. Now this thing as well, this is the standard Paftec battery unit and powered area. But I've put this cartridge on the back. Now this cartridge here, you'll notice it's got all sorts of different colored lines on it. White, brown, yellow, and gray. Now I just thought that was some sexy colors that they put on it. They all have a meaning. Now this is stuff that as I said, I just did not have any idea. So I'm going to tell you what all of those colors mean. That brown, and also you'll notice it's labeled. I'll see if I can hold it up to the camera and you might be able to see the labeling on it. About there. See how it says ABE1P3. Now that 1P3 means it's a P3, which is 99.95% of the particles are going to be wiped out before they get to me. And the one in front of the P3 means it's a shared filter. It's a dual filter. So I'm going to go through the other parts, which are those cartridges in behind. And I think they're just this kind of a style of cartridge. There's two of them in there. I don't know that for sure yet. I haven't pulled it apart. I'd like to do that and have a look. So the brown on this one, which is A, relates to the brown, gases and vapors of organic compounds with boiling point of greater than 65 degrees Celsius. So when I saw that, I thought, well, that's pretty good. And then the grey area is the B section. And inorganic gases and vapors, example, chlorine, hydrogen sulfide, hydrogen cyanide. So yes, full-on dust mask like a war. And then what was the last part? The yellow section is E, which is sulfur dioxide and hydrogen chloride. Now that's pretty amazing what it'll cover. So why did I even think about putting this on recently? Well, when I was putting the epoxy on the floor, I read the instructions that came with it, and it said, you will need to wear a mask and wear gloves. And I thought, pussies. I'm not going to put that stuff on. I've got the garage door open. I've got both these doors open in the workshop. Great airflow. But I'll tell you what, when I was standing in front of the stuff, mixing it up, the epoxy, and the fumes were coming out, and it was really hitting me. I was thinking, man, oh man, I really should put a mask on. And then I put my space helmet on. I put the alien helmet on, thinking that would do it. No, I could still smell it. I said, oh, this is not good. So then I grabbed the Kapex and assembled it. I finished mixing, which I had to do. Then I got out of the room and I assembled this thing. I got to tell you, it's my new best friend. But it's not going to be worn all the time. It's nowhere near as convenient as my Air Shield Pro. But this thing, I love it. I could not smell anything. It was just clear air. It was magic. So then it let me get in, and because I was an hour in there applying each coat of epoxy. And I don't know, I tell you what, if you're in an area where you're going to spray, and I'm looking also trying to do some spraying further down the track, but just these free agents, so kind of it's an acetone, I think, that's the base, because that'll dissolve it. Amazing, absolutely amazing. So there you go. That's my chat on these filters. Now, the other thing is, though, if I'm wearing this one with the Kapex, I can still wear George's eye muffs, these things. So I can wear those and have this as well. So if I'm in a situation where I want sound control as well, let's try that one. Oh, no, look, I'm not going to do it. I was thinking about popping this on the show and then popping these on, see how to go. They probably would work. They probably would work. But that's just from an hour or two's research last night that I've gleaned this information. And I might throw some images up on the Patreon site, pardon me, on just those details that I just read out to you on the different levels of filtration that you can get. Because as I keep saying to people, one set of lungs per customer. That's all you get. There's not going to be a second pair come along unless you are in an extremely fortunate situation and they don't get rejected if you get them put in. The gloves, as I say, I'm going to tell you all about this. You get over the epoxy in a few days, you'll be fine. Says the guy with the kidney photo. These gloves here, these are what I use. Again, I'm not getting anything for showing you these. I've worn all sorts of gloves that are powder inside, and the ones from Aldi, for $10 a box or whatever they are. As soon as you start pulling them on, the thing pulls down your finger and it snaps off at the top. I don't rate them. I'll do a demo. I'm putting this on. Let me see, where are we? The main thing is to have dry hands. Don't wash your hands and then try and put your hand, even with a quick towel, they're not going to go on. Here we go. Done. Wasn't that just the quickest, easiest demonstration you've ever seen of someone putting a glove on? Greg Wyatt, you need to get these. He probably already has these. He's a doctor, and he would be doing something with this. Oh dear, it's one of those things, isn't it? All right, that's life. So there you go, the hammer. And make sure you get the right size. I bought the mediums, and they were too small for my hand. Now, You know, I'm a guy that's 5'10", average size hands for a person 5'10". I needed the large. I got the mediums. They were too tight. I gave them to Vicky. Vicky's about 5'8", and they fit her hands fine. All right, what's next? What's next? I'm going to have a bit of a read. Guys, are you enjoying what I'm doing this time? There's really not been any demonstrations. I've had a little bit of a chat about the Kapex because a lot of people have been asking me about it. I thought I'd fill you in on dust masks because it's something that happened to me during the week, and I really needed to address the situation quickly. And I thought, you know what? If I need to know about it, I'm sure there's other people out there would appreciate the insider knowledge about it as well. I may even throw some more, as I said, I'll throw up some more information on my Patreon site. Links in the description. And where are we? I'll throw those over there. Quick drink of coffee. Okay, inventions of wood. It would be great for catalyzed spray. John, you get over it. Yes, Lostwitz, I had a similar learning experience while working with a product called Marblo, polyester resin product used for signage and cafe tabletops. Nasty stuff. Everything's looking good. Okay, John, we're here for the chats as well as the demos. All right, what I'm going to do next, before I jump into the drum sander, I'll swing the camera over this side here, and I'll show you these drawers that I did the video on last night, or that I released, when was it? Not last night, the night before. I love them. These things are fantastic. Now, people have been offering all sorts of suggestions. Let's put that there. Will that work? If I tip that down, like so, you can see that pretty easy from there. I'll come around this side. All right. Now, people have said to me that I'll sit down here a little bit low. You might be able to see me a bit better. Oh, jingos. Jingos. Is that a word that you guys say as well? Or my father used to say it all the time. These holes here are the handles for me to open the drawers. I love them. I love them. I love them. I love them. You watch this. I must have been living under a rock all my life. These things are great. I knew they existed. I knew they've got push to open ones. I've got those in the rest of the workshop. And I'm not a fan of those ones, I've got to tell you now. They bump open at the wrong time when you're handling a sheet through the table saw. And they've got ones that you just close and it's a push all the way. And it's got a little catch at the end. But these things, and John's talking about making me a special one of these dogs. Look at this. Isn't that, that's Toyland, isn't it? Okay. Leslie Wilson, hi Dave. Where were you by the earmuff glasses combination? Really shows off the grain. Yeah, it does. Let me just answer that question for you, Leslie. Have a look in the description box down the bottom below this image. If you're on a phone, maybe have a quick look on an ordinary computer, or turn your phone up vertically and you might get the show more section there. Heaps of things are in there about what's available through the show, and all the links on where I get my stuff from and what have you. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of things. You might get a little bit more excited about things. Now, these drawer slides from King Slide, and I put a link in there as well on the video that I did on this, where you can get those from in Australia. They carry 32 kilos in a combination between them, so 16 kilos each. Now, a kilo is 2.2 pounds, so you can do the conversion. Say I want something to be supported by, a dog. Now, we've used John's dogs before, so we'll go with TSO Products dogs this time. Say I want to put that dog there and that dog there. Aren't they a nice fit? Now, I can support something that I'm going to hold here and plane or sand or whatever, and say it's going to be really heavy. I can do this. How cool is that? Now I've just made that drawer add in an extra support to this drawer here to support that load. Now I'm going to talk to John about possibly making a couple of these individually, so I could put one from there to there, and one from there to there, and one from there to there, and one from there to there. And I up the load that these two top ones here can take big time. So I thought that'd be lovely. And that's one of the advantages of me setting all of these drawer fronts out as one unit. If you watch the video on how I did it, you'll see that I made this as one piece to start, and it's regular dog hold using Peter Parfitt's UJK Path Guide system. And, you know, people say, oh, it's expensive. I don't think it is. For what you can do with it, you can just go crazy, knock yourself out with it. Make the Stanton bench. You can do things like this underneath. And then there was other things I was going to mention, and things just skip out of my mind quickly as they come in. Oh, right, these things here. Now, this is just Kreg Mini Track. Now, these guys that are made for the Kreg clamp tracks are too big. They will not go into a Kreg Mini Track, but it's the same principle that I want. So John has made a couple of these for me that are different dimensions, and they'll be available on his site as well. So if you want to do something like this, jump in and do it. They will go in there, and they'll be a sliding stop. Anywhere I want, I can get a perfect height. Now that's instead of just supporting, that's supporting and all, making sure it comes in line with here, so I can use it similarly to what I've got on the Stanton bench. Now the Stanton bench is a cracker. I love it. It does everything that I want. But for the big heavy stuff, sometimes I think, well, maybe I'd like to use this MagSwitch Universal Rail or Track, whatever you want to call it. Again, I put links to these things, if you don't know where to get them, in the description box below. But what do you think about that? I love it. How are we going for time? 10:02. I've got to get stuck. Look at that. It brings it out beautifully. Ha! And I just push it like that. Out it comes. That one in there. That one in there. I think we've had enough chat down here at the moment. Let's get it stuck into the drum sander. You got the straight dog bars already, have you? Excellent. Just put 2 slides down together and 2 tracks to join them together. Yep, that'd do it as well. All right, I'm bringing this camera over here to my drum sander. And let's put that about there. How's that? Is that okay? Actually, that's... No, I'll bring it over closer, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a demo on cleaning this thing to start with. How's that? About there. All right, last bit. Straight bar would be for a planing stop. Correct. Correct, 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 correct. Okay, now, this is the drum sander. And you can see here, it's got some rubbish on it. Okay. This bad boy here, for people that aren't aware of what a drum sander cleaning stick, this is a belt cleaning stick. This is fantastic. All right, now this is reasonably quiet, my machine, so I can turn her on. And I'll turn the dust extractor on at the same time, why not? I've walked out of shot, but I'm still here. All right. I'm going to turn this off for a second, because when I turn my my dust extractor on, it's got a huge ampage on the startup. Hear that? Okay. What we do with this? Now, whilst I've got some burnt stuff in there, you know, and the paper's a bit stuffed in spots, I can have a look at it now and say, right, well, I won't put anything in that area, so it's nearly just underneath the dust nozzle. I'll use this section, and I'll use this section over here. But that paper's just about had its time. But you can see that what it does, it cleans out all of the rubbish from in between the peaks. So you've got these little mountains. Let's go into kind of Lilliput land here. Sandpaper's got little mountains that stick up, and that's the cutting. And then in between, you've got these little valleys. It's like the the gullet in a saw blade, you know, the gullet behind the teeth. So this belt cleaning stick basically warms it up and pulls it out. And you can see all this rubber up here. So that'll eventually go up through my dust extractor if I do that. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm cleaning up some skirting board, as I mentioned before. So what I'll do is I'll move this back over here and I'll shut that other door, because that door is throwing a whole lot of light that we don't want there at the moment. Give me a sec. So we've got about 8 minutes left, guys, or 8 to 10 minutes. I'll shut this door. So it's autumn. Autumn at the moment, and last night it was blowing a gale. There we go. Well, look at the difference already. You can see what's going to happen. Okay. Now, if I come into the picture, will you be able to see me? You should be able to. All right. This is the skirting board. Now, I'm cleaning this off. Let me see if I'm still in the image. Yep. I'm going to clean this off because it's got, you know, gunk, and probably a wash would do it, but I'm going to just lightly sand that off. Now, before I do that, I'm going to sand the back because it's got areas here of paint that went down the back and all sorts of other rubbish. It's got no more gaps has been put along the top there, but I'm quickly going to give this a quick touch on this side before I flip her over and do the other side, because if I do that side with all the gunk under there, it's not going to give me an even surface, is it? It's going to wobble all over the place. All right, so first thing is the dust extractor. I love it. Turn him on. Yep. Beautiful. Now with mine, I always send my stuff through at the fast speed. I never turn mine down slow. I was thinking about doing this. With the with just an orbital sander, but where's the fun in that? Take it down a little bit more. That's sounding a bit better. And looking better. The other thing is, I don't know if you can hear me now, the other thing is, make sure that the boards are dry. Otherwise, you're going to get a bit of a warp in them if they're wet. That's pretty good. Now, if you've got any questions, guys, I will look up at the camera every now and then. Yeah, I know. All that old paint, eh? All the old paint and the cobwebs, Wayne. You forgot the cobwebs. I'll do a couple more and then we'll turn her off. You can see where the paint has run down the back. Doing a great job. I love it. It's a great machine. Look at that. Now you can see the paint there. I'll turn it on. Now you can see the paint there, but it's smooth as now. That's just in the surface a little bit. The belt sander was something I didn't really think I wanted, and then I watched a few people using them, and I thought, it's a bloody good machine. I'll swing it around this way. Alrighty. Bring that. That's about it. So there you go. I think we're just about done for the show today. I'm going to have a read through. Can you get earmuffs in Canada? Yes, you can. They're available in America. And so I'm sure that the agent in America will be able to send them to you. Not a problem. Okay, where are we? Okay, gotta go and eat dinner. See you next week. Okay, Adventures in Wood. Yes, Mike, you can. Terry, I've got no idea what you're talking about there. Let me slide back up through some of these questions here. Good video on the drawers. I don't know if they work for me. I could see me needing something in that. Forgot one of the drawers. Okay, yeah, John, I saw you made that comment. I don't know. Like, it's only the top couple of drawers that you'd be using in this situation. So you could keep things that you maybe are going to be forgetful about in a drawer lower down. So maybe tapes and things like that you could keep in the third drawer down. Of course, it's just about organization. But the thing is, things aren't going to be in the clamps all the time. You're only going to put them in for a process, like if you're using a hand plane, and then you put the hand plane down, you take that thing off, and then all your drawers are exposed again. They're all ready to go. I think it's brilliant. I'm going to make another set beside it, because I've got the matched part of plywood that I cut that out of is ready for there. So the grain will just all follow. It's going to be beautiful. And I've got another section up the end here that I've got 300 millimeter deep drawers that I'm going to be putting in the small unit. And I think I'll probably do a similar thing with those as well. That's great fun. I enjoy it so much. Okay, guys, I think that's about it for this week. Wayne, before we all go, all of you in the Fires News, please stay safe. Yes. Yeah. Oh, look. Oh, the iMuffs competition winner. Oh, nearly got past that. Okay. Again, Nicola. No, it wasn't you. Sorry. Sorry, sweetie. Okay. Not a problem, John. All right. iMuffs. If you're in Australia, again, you're a winner this time. Possibly you're in the running. So it's not overseas. And if your initials are JL, you're also in the running. Now, I know I've got a couple of people, JLs here. If your first name is John and your last name is Lafferty, you are this week's winner. Now, this is a little bit weird because you know that it's a random selection. I've got a thing called Rafflecopter, and it just picks a winner at random. Well, John's name popped up, and I nearly pushed the delete this one because I thought people would think, oh, no, it's rigged. You know, Dave's getting this stuff from him, and he's going to give him some iMuffs. Not how it happens at all. John, you're the winner, fair and square, and that's what came up. And Vicky said, good on him. So there you go. John, I'm going to get George at John, George, Ringo, and Paul. I'm showing my age, aren't I? Yeah, so this week, as I say, the new competition is you have to drop into the winner this week's website, check out his stuff. It's not rigged. and enter. You can enter as many times as you want, one a day. That lets you enter. Yeah, there you go. It lets you enter one a day, not as many times as you want. What am I thinking? Also, look what I've got. I got a gazillion of these rotten things. I've got a granddaughter going off to Fiji, and her mum decided to do some fundraising to finance getting her over there because it costs a bomb. And there you go. So I've got to sell all these. I've got 50 of the rotten things, and I'm hoping I don't eat them all before I manage to get rid of them and recoup some money. It cost me $50 for that box. Okay, guys, thank you very much for watching. Keep safe, and just keep safe and look after yourself. Be nice to people. Check out the stuff in the description box below. Check out Patreon, and keep on coming back. Share the show. Share the that last video I did on the drawers. I'm so proud of it. It's one of those things that you do things every now and then. You do something you think, man, I like that one a lot. Anyway, stay safe. I shall see you all next time.